Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. Tempers have flared in court in a tense start to what was supposed to be the final day of a trial for charges stemming from the Hillcrest tragedy. An engineer called by the defence claiming an expert inspection of the jumping castle would not have been worth the cost.
Back in the stand after being called by the defence yesterday, mechanical engineer David Eager says that even if 84 pegs were used instead of 4 to secure the jumping castle at Hillcrest Primary School in December 2021, it would have made no difference. Under cross-examination clashing with prosecutor Madeline Wilson, who reminded him of his obligation to be impartial, as the magistrate intervened a number of times demanding he answer the question. Professor Eager disagrees with the Crown's own expert witness, Roderick McDonald, who testified that Tasmania owner Rosemary Gamble was not competent to operate the castle, although both agree the manual relied upon by Miss Gamble was lacking. Madeline Wilson asking whether relying on a manual that's not worth a piece of goat's piss is a good measure of competence, to which he replied she's put it up for 6 years and there's no evidence anything's gone wrong. He also disagreed with prior testimony that Miss Gamble should have had the castle inspected by an expert, arguing it would have been cheaper to throw it away and buy a new one, prompting one parent to storm out of the room yelling, "How much is my child worth?" Miss Wilson telling the court Tasmania would have made between $50,000 to $100,000 renting the castle, asking the professor, "You'd only need one inspection to identify the defects?" Yes, he said. One payment of $5,000 or even $1,000 to $2,000 would have been a pretty good investment, wouldn't it? With which he agreed. Defence lawyer Chris Dockeray, however, contends it still wouldn't have avoided the unfortunate outcome.
Well, let's go to Nick Kelly now, who's live at Devonport Magistrates Court. And Nick, this was supposed to be the final day of the trial, but it's not finished yet.
No, not quite, Kim. There's a number of reasons why this timeline has blown out, including the Crown's engineering experts' marathon testimony over 3 days this week. There's also been extensive periods of legal argument about the admissibility of certain aspects of some of the expert reports. Now, we are just waiting to hear from one more witness, and that is the Crown's geotechnical expert on Monday morning. We'll then hear closing submissions from both sides at a later date. We are not expecting to hear an outcome though from the magistrate until after the new year, Kim, which is something that I'm sure can't come soon enough for the families who've been showing up here every day in what has no doubt been a very difficult 2 weeks for them.
Very, very difficult time. Thank you so much, Nick Kelly there from Devonport Magistrates Court. It's not the sweetest news for workers at Clermont's Cadbury factory, with job cuts on the line. Mondelez International, the factory's owner, says around 20 voluntary redundancies will be made next year as it turns to further automation. The company says modernising operations is needed to stay competitive amid rising cocoa prices and input costs. Labor is raising another financial alarm, claiming the price tag for the botched Spirit of Tasmania project continues to soar. It's pointing to government documents showing the fiasco is going to cost taxpayers an additional $12 million in maintenance and interest fees on existing ships.
This is just more money down the drain on a project that's already almost $500 million over budget. It's 6 years delayed, and overall it's going to cost our economy around $3 billion.
The Premier has been very clear that we are looking at all options, and all options are on the table.
The government is insisting the bungled project is back on track, and it's exploring leasing options for the new ships to deliver financial return. The future of UTAS Stadium is starting to take shape, with stage 1 of the $130 million revamp officially underway. Over the next 5 months, matchday facilities will undergo a major facelift, bringing the venue in line with Australian Tier 2 sporting guidelines.
It's a critical component to a redevelopment of this nature, otherwise your ability to attract Hawthorn and to be a home ground for the Tasmania Devils when they enter the competition is compromised.
It's an important piece of the puzzle for the overall development of the precinct, and we're excited to be a part of it, not only for ourselves but for the broader Launceston community.
Works are expected to be completed in time for the Hawks' first game against the Giants in March. The University of Tasmania has partnered with a global expedition company to deliver a new educational program for those planning a trip to Antarctica. The course is a world first, offering explorers the opportunity to learn more about the polar region and how to preserve it.
It's a rugged and remote beauty, a bucket list item for many. If you're lucky enough to visit Antarctica, there's now a chance to learn more before even stepping foot on the icy continent.
When you come to a place, you have a much richer experience if you know something about it before you get there.
A new course launching as part of a partnership between UTAS and the largest Antarctic tour operator, HX. It offers a unique educational journey for the curious traveller, from Antarctica's fascinating history to its spectacular wildlife.
Part of the idea is to help make these people ambassadors, because you save what you love, and if you don't know it, how can you appreciate the specialness?
The university has the highest concentration of Antarctic researchers in the world, making the partnership an obvious choice for the expedition company.
The focus on sustainability, the science part of it, of course, and the educational part. These are three pillars that we have as an organisation, and obviously UTAS, as a world-leading institute in Antarctic studies, was the perfect partner for us.
With the online course focusing on ways to preserve the polar landscape.
Knowing about the environment, how it works and what's going wrong, particularly with climate change, and then thinking about, well, what can be done to help reverse some of those changes.
The ultimate icebreaker for the adventure of a lifetime.
Actually be in the environment and sit and listen to the penguins, or be in a boat and listen to the ice tinkling in the icebergs, because those are the things that stay with you.
Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's longest-standing police officers have been honoured at this year's Commissioner and National Awards ceremony in Hobart. Detective Sergeant Nathan Hartnett named the 2024 Investigator of the Year. He played a pivotal role in uncovering the murder of Campbelltown man Shane Barker in 2009, working alongside late partner Sergeant Mark Lopez.
Beyond the investigation, he remained steadfast in his duties, ensuring the integrity of the trial and supporting the prosecution's efforts, all while being away from his family.
Over 300 officers received recognition for their dedication to the service, with ceremonies spread across the state. A program connecting support dogs with vulnerable court witnesses is helping make a traumatic experience a little easier. There are 2 dogs on duty across Hobart and Launceston, with one to arrive in Burnie soon.
Pixie and Quincy are regulars in the courtroom, but their only crime is helping to calm those most vulnerable.
Some children telling their stories to the dog instead of a person that they don't know just gives them that comfort.
The pair playing a crucial role supporting someone in a police interview or a witness giving evidence for serious offences such as sexual abuse, family violence or homicide matters. These pups even happy to wait with someone in a courtroom.
The days that the dogs are there, it's calmer, there's less happening, less people having to interrupt and try and calm things down, and just quieter in that environment as well.
The support for vulnerable witnesses, whether they be children, young people or adults, in terms of witnesses providing information during a process which can be challenging.
While these Justice Facility dogs have been helping out since February, there are calls to recruit more, with Tasmania one of the few states to offer such a program.
Even during court breaks, just sitting and brushing the dog, we've got little packs that go with the dogs of different activities that they can do. The dogs, some of them can turn the pages of a book.
But it's not a role any canine can do. These 2 chosen for their calm temperament and ability to pick up on the physical signs of stress.
They're taught to sort of go up, do a chin rest, lend a paw, and really just provide that support.
Proving they really are a man's best friend. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, 6 Tasmanian Institute of Sport coaches are taking a big leap towards the elite level. They've been awarded scholarships which will offer dedicated training, financial assistance and mentoring from experienced coaches. Participants hope the development program will help shape the next generation of Olympic hopefuls and steer more Tasmanians to podium glory.
I think the last few Olympics, some Tasmanians have been really hopeful to get there and we fell just short. So I think it's important that we're upskilling our coaches and then imparting that knowledge onto our athletes to ensure that we can get to these high performance environments.
Really enables me to pursue a bit more professional development for my coaching, which in turn will improve my coaching, and then I can be of more help to the young Tasmanian athletes.
For the first time, para-coaches have been included in the program for the sports of rowing and swimming. Local farmers in the southeast have even more reasons to celebrate on National Agriculture Day. Growers and the state government welcoming confirmation of a critical irrigation scheme.
The agricultural sector is no longer feeling mowed down. It's welcoming a major boost to water supplies.
Greater Southeast Irrigation Scheme. What a game changer that is for our farmers in this region.
The federal government confirming it will pour $150 million into the Southeast Irrigation Scheme after opposition leader Peter Dutton made an election promise to fund it. It's set to bring 30,000 megalitres of additional and affordable water to the southeast.
It's going to allow us to have a reliable and cost-effective water supply for this region.
The Strath Air Turf Farm looking forward to soaking up the cash splash. The extra water supplies are set to boost production of their turf, which they export all over the country.
Well, here we grow mostly turf for domestic use and sports field use around Tasmania, but also we do the occasional project like this one here, which is basically golf green turf, which we've seen in New South Wales.
Farms like this describing water as liquid gold.
Water is absolutely critical. Obviously, turf won't grow without water.
The measure aiming to support long-term viability for the entire sector, as well as boost the regional economy and help jobs flourish.
High-value crops, high-value products that this region can produce, and it's all on the back of a reliable and cost-effective water supply.
There'll be 200 jobs immediately that will assist with rolling out the scheme, and then 400 jobs are predicted after the scheme is built.
Rebecca Gadaneris, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, fresh from hanging up the boots, three-time AFL Premiership champion Tom Hawkins has arrived in Hobart to promote his self-titled biography. The Cats star forward offering fans a chance to get up close and personal, providing readers with an insight into his career and the people he's met along the way.
There's a lot of young kids here today that barrack for Geelong or just follow football, and something might resonate with them about my story that inspires them to play AFL.
He's my favourite. I wish he didn't retire. I wish he stayed in the league. Yeah.
The Coleman medalist is expected to take up a commentating role throughout the 2025 footy season.
Jake Weatherold has had a standout performance for the Tigers on day one of their Sheffield Shield clash against Queensland. The runs were flowing for the opening batter, knocking a century off as nearly as many balls.
103 runs off 102 deliveries. He salutes the crowd. He embraces Jordan Silk in the middle.
Webster back in the lineup after being away for Australia A duties. At stumps, Tassie were 3 for 358, with Weatherold sitting on 185 not out. Play will continue throughout the weekend. The rise of Jacob Furphy is showing no signs of slowing down. The young Tasmanian will make his debut for the Boomers in the upcoming FIBA Asia Cup 2025 qualifiers later this month. The 18-year-old wanted 2 late changes for the Aussies, who'll feature alongside the likes of NBL and fellow Tasmanian star Chris Goulding. And the Jack Jumpers will be looking to leave their trolling woes behind them when they host the Brisbane Bullets tonight. It's a high-stakes game for both sides. The Jackies are currently sitting second last on the ladder, just behind the Bullets in 8th. Tip-off is at 7:30. We'll have all the highlights in tomorrow's bulletin. And Kim, some good news for the Jackies. Sean McDonald is tipped to play his first match of the season tonight after returning from that nasty ankle injury.
That is good news. Thanks, Vic. Well, speaking of good news, Murph is next with the weekend weather forecast.
Good evening. Hobart and Burnie, a little on the cool side, 17 today. Launceston the state's high with 21 and Devonport 19. Flinders Island reached 20, King Island, Smithton and Strawn 19. Lowhead and Friendly Beach is 18 degrees. St Helens 15, along with 2 millimetres of rain, and Lyre-Weenie a top of 12. Cloudy conditions over a good part of the state today, only scattered in the west. A frontal band is building to the south of WA and over the Bight. More cloud with thunderstorms emanating from the Pilbara system, and that system is reaching northern New South Wales. Tomorrow, the trough over the far north extends over western Queensland. A cold front is still moving south of the Bight as the high over the Tasman directs a northerly flow over us. And those north to northeasterly winds will push up to around 30 knots over most waters during the afternoon and evening. Gale warning is on from Flinders Island to St Helens Point and from Tasman Island to South East Cape. A strong wind warning for all remaining coastal waters. Hobart 25 and partly cloudy tomorrow, same for Maydena, and Oatlands 23 degrees. Launceston for Saturday 25, a cloudy day, 21 for Devonport, a shower creeping in, and 18 the top for Lyowini. Burnie expecting a cloudy 20, 25 the top for Strawn, the winds easing from Marrawar and 21 the maximum. The east coast important tomorrow, St Helens a shower or two, 60% chance, a top of 20. Bicheno not on the graphic there, but of course there's a 50-50 chance at Bicheno for a shower, a top of 20. That's a 50-50 chance of a shower, but 100% chance of good food and wine at the festival. Swansea 23 and Orford a partly cloudy 22, and there's the look for Sunday. A few isolated showers contracting to the west in the evening, possible early thunderstorm in the north and east. More wet weather into Monday with fresh west to southwesterly winds, and on Tuesday conditions clearing to be fine and just partly cloudy over the state. Sunny weather for Perth tomorrow, a hot day ahead of a late cool change in Adelaide, 37 the high there. Sunny and mid-30s in Melbourne, possible showers for Sydney and Brisbane. Cloudy conditions at the moment at 16 in Hobart, 18 right now in Launceston, 16 in Devonport. Kim, that wraps up the weather for National Agriculture Day, a day brought to you by the Farmers Union, the EIEIO.
Oh my goodness, that is terrible, Murph. You need a weekend.